Well, good morning, West Ham fans. Monday again, and I still haven't recovered from the 12 o'clock kickoff on Sunday morning. I am absolutely exhausted. Oh, thank God. Could never do it. All you American hammers and Dubai hammers and Australian hammers, fucking hell, fair play to you, and it's like a proper game you get up for at this time in the morning. Yeah, fair play. Anyway, at lunchtime, we're going to be talking a bit more about the Academy. We may do the first edition of the Academy show for this season at 6 o'clock UK time. But what we're going to do is give you, for anyone sort of new to the channel, obviously we had Preston Fearon make a great cameo performance for the game against Man United. So I'm going to give you Budden's top 5 next in line. So the players, we're going to talk about Preston, we're going to talk about Edge, Colin Becky's, and some of the other ones who could be the next in line in terms of the academy, who's going to make it into the, onto the conveyor belt. Because I said it on Sunday, we're in a good shape with the academy, and I think, mate, and we try and give as much information about the academy as we can. I mean, we're the only channel out there to do it sort of do a show just on the academy, which will be resurrecting on this afternoon, with pre-season well underway. And we're going to talk about one of the academy, well, what was one of the academy players in today's morning headlines. But let's start with the main item, which is Lucas Paqueta. So we assume in the next 24 hours, 48 hours, the FA will release the findings of the hearing, which, as we're led to believe, will put Paqueta in the clear. And there's lots of been said, various channels, including this channel as well, talking about what's best for him, what's best for us, that type of thing. And it was suggested that Flamengo, that the sporting director, was over here already last week trying to discuss a potential deal for the Brazilian Magnifico. But according to reports, which have been a few different sources, including ex-WHU employee, he says that a top source, well, firstly, they've said that the decision for Lucas to go will be made by the manager and the player himself. Believe that? I don't know. And then furthermore, he was advised for the asking price for Lucas Paqueta. So that's a juxtapositioning, surely. You can go if the manager or you think it's right to go, but here's the asking price. So you've already sort of circumnavigated that with the asking price, which is believed to be they would not sell. The top source today said they would not sell Paqueta for anything less than £60 million. Now, is that the same £60 million that we weren't going to sell Kudus for and ended up selling him for £55 million? Quite possibly. A person like Kudus had an £85 million release clause, but no, we're not going to sell him for less than 60. We sold him 55. So I think if you get 50 million for him, I think you've done well. I think that's in today's market as well. So it's all right saying that's the asking price, but whether other clubs will agree with that is another thing. Whether we want to sell him, whether he wants to go, there's all these factors in play. But that's what we've been told. We've been told by a top source via X, and I think Sean mentioned it as well, that they will not sell Paqueta for anything less than £60 million, 70 million euros. He's put that in wrong. It's either 60 million. It says 60 million / 70 million. No, 60 million, I think, is the right figure. So we shall wait and see what happens in the next few days. Will we see Lucas Paqueta play again at West Ham? Obviously, we've got Everton coming up in the summer series, and then we've got Bournemouth on Saturday as well. So we'll see. We'll see. Then the following week, it's what's the name, isn't it? It's the BS Cup, the Royal Sport Cup against Lille at London Stadium. Christ. God, that's come around quick, isn't it? Now, let's talk about an area which needs development, which is the goalkeeper. I think, if anything, exemplified on Saturday. Yes, it was it was a couple of mistakes, wasn't it? It wasn't one, it was two mistakes which led to goals. And Mads Hermansen, and Zion Suzuki, both are high up on the agenda. We've again the senior source has said that the goalkeeper position is a top priority, and West Ham are said to be pushing through their attempts to sign a goalkeeper in the coming days, following a poor performance again from Areola against Man United. Now, what is interesting is in terms of the options that are available. Mads Hermansen, we know, is Casper, the friendly goalkeeper coach's main. He was the one he really wants. Zion Suzuki is a great goalkeeper. Like it is, he wants to stay in Parma. From a marketing perspective, West Ham would love it because it means you've got the Japanese international #1 goalkeeper. You know, you could open up West Ham to a whole area in Asia, which we haven't done previously. And there's always been a desire to get a top Asian player in the squad to do a Son, basically, do a Juice in Park. You know, these are, you know, Man United fans in Korea because of Park. You know, that was 15 years ago, 20 years ago. So they've grown up and become fans, and obviously it means more money for shirts and stuff like that, and tours and things like that. But the likelihood is Suzuki probably won't come. Mads Hermansen potentially is someone who we are looking at. But according to a few reports, it does seem that Michael Cooper from Sheffield United could be a West Ham goalkeeper sooner rather than later. Sheffield United won around £15 million for him. And it's believed that they are currently doing final checks, West Ham are, on the potential of Michael coming in. I mean, he joined from, I think it was Plymouth last year or something like that, for a couple of £1 million. So it's a hell of a turnaround. He's 25, you know, great age to bring in a goalkeeper who, you know, potentially you could have for the next 10 years. You know, if he's good enough and he keeps himself fit. I mean, look at Fabianski, you know, it played 39, 40, wasn't he, when he left? Going for 15 years, you know. He was made #1 with Sheffield United. However, it does seem that Sheffield United are somewhat facing an uphill battle to keep him. Everton have inquired about him, but that was turned down. And it seems that West Ham will have a look at him. I mean, he played 170 times for Plymouth in all competitions, and obviously wants to test himself at the highest stage. And I think whereas maybe the reason probably for Everton in rejecting Everton was the likelihood is Pickford will be goalkeeper for another couple of years at least. With West Ham, there's a real opportunity there to claim the #1 spot for Areola. So the chance of him getting game time, potentially, again, you know, we're in a World Cup year. You know, there's spots up. You know, you got to think James Trafford's gone to Man City. He's going to Man City. You're thinking, unless Ederson moves on, you know, it's going to be a battle to get a #1 jersey maybe off him. I don't know. One person who you won't be seeing in the claret and blue anytime soon is Sean Moore. For anyone who watches the Academy show, Sean's someone we talk about very regularly for the under-21s. We signed him 2 years ago from Cliftonville, I think it was. He has joined League of Ireland champions Shelbourne FC on a permanent transfer. They did approach West Ham with a loan option, but his contract runs out next year. So a loan wouldn't, or end of this season coming, I think. So a loan wouldn't make sense, but a permanent deal would make sense. I mean, he's made 56 appearances for the under-21s, scoring 10 goals, as the under-21s finished 2nd and 4th in the 24-25 PL2 respectively. He'll join the Irish champions now ahead of their UEFA Champions League second round qualifying second leg against Karabakh. Yeah, I mean, you got to see some of them, and you know, again, you know, it's always when we see players, academy players, move on. It's always a shame because Sean's a good player. I don't think I don't think he'd ever make it to the first team, and he can go and have a fantastic career, hopefully with Shelbourne for several years to come, and maybe one that comes back over here in a couple of years' time for League One, Championship side, that type of thing. We'll wait and see. But we wish Sean all the best. I always like Sean. Very honest player. Very, very honest player. And that's it, my friends. As I said, come back at lunchtime. We're going to try and do Russie B's top 5 next in line academy players. So you know who the next ones are. They may even get some minutes, maybe in the next couple of games. So a couple of them are out there with the first team. But until next time, my friends, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, and I'll see you soon. See you at lunchtime. Much love. Bye-bye.